I adjusted the pearl necklace around my neck, the one Robert gave me on our 25th anniversary. Its soft glow caught the light in my bedroom mirror, and I smiled, thinking how it still felt like his hands resting there. At 74, I didn't fuss much with looks anymore, but tonight was special. Michael had called 2 days ago, his voice warm, saying, "Mom, dinner's at 6:30. We've got big news to share." I picked a light blue dress, simple but elegant, the kind Emily, my granddaughter, always said made me look timeless. I smoothed the fabric, my fingers lingering on the hem, imagining the laughter around their new dining table. The house was quiet, just the tick of the old clock Robert loved. Photos lined the mantel, Michael as a boy with his baseball glove, Emily's graduation, Robert and me at the lake. Each one held a story, a piece of a life I'd poured my heart into. I glanced at the clock. 5:15. Plenty of time to get to Michael's new place, a sleek condo by the river, the one I'd helped them buy last year. "It's for family, Mom," Michael had said, his eyes bright. "A place for us all." I believed him then. My phone buzzed on the dresser, pulling me from my thoughts. A text from Michael. I reached for my glasses, expecting details about the dinner. Maybe a reminder to bring the pie I'd promised. My smile faded as I read the words. "Mom, sorry, plans changed. Karen's having friends over instead. We'll do dinner another time." My chest tightened, but I reread it, thinking I'd missed something. Michael had been so excited about tonight. I scrolled up, checking our call log. He'd said big news. Why the sudden change? Then another buzz. A new message, still from Michael's number. "You weren't invited to dinner. My wife doesn't want you there." My hands shook, the phone nearly slipping. The words felt like a slap, sharp and cold. Karen? She'd always been distant, but this? I sank onto the bed, the dress crumpling under me. Memories flooded in. Michael's first steps, his shy grin when he introduced Karen, the way he'd hugged me after Robert's funeral. Had it all been a lie? I stared at the text, my heart racing. Was this really from Michael, or had Karen sent it? The doubt gnawed at me, a tiny spark of mystery in the pain. I set the phone down, my eyes drifting to Robert's picture. "What would you do, love?" I whispered. He'd always known how to stand firm, even with Michael. I never could. I'd given them so much, money for the condo, Emily's college, Karen's new car. Each time, I thought it brought us closer. Now those gifts felt like chains. I picked up the phone again, my thumb hovering over Michael's name. Should I call? Demand answers? Instead, I opened my banking app, my fingers moving on instinct. The account showed recent transfers, $10,000 for their kitchen remodel, $5,000 for Emily's tuition. My savings, built from years with Robert, were dwindling. I'd never questioned it before. It was for family, wasn't it? But that text, it wasn't just words. It was a wall, shutting me out of a home I'd helped build. I stood, pacing the room, my dress swishing against my legs. The clock ticked louder, each second a reminder of the dinner I wasn't welcome at. I thought of Emily, her bright smile, her texts asking about my day. Did she know about this? I typed a message to her. "Sweetie, looks like I'm not coming tonight. Your mom has other plans." I hit send, my heart heavy. Seconds later, my phone lit up with her reply. "What? Grandma. Dad said you had to be there." My breath caught. So Emily didn't know. The mystery deepened. Whose decision was this? Michael's? Karen's? Or something else? I walked to the window, staring at the quiet street. A plan started forming, not clear yet, but sharp, like a blade. I wasn't just going to sit here, hurt and forgotten. Robert's voice echoed in my mind. "Susan, you're stronger than you know." I turned back to the phone, my fingers steady now. I dialed the bank, my voice calm but firm. "Hello, this is Susan Miller. I need to review my account transfers." The operator's voice was polite, asking for verification. As I answered, my eyes fell on a photo of Michael and Karen's wedding. I'd paid for that too. The operator confirmed my identity. "Mrs. Miller, you have 92 recurring payments. Would you like me to list them?" I swallowed hard. 92. How had I let it come to this? "Yes," I said. "And I want to know how to stop them. All of them." There was a pause, then a cautious, All of them, ma'am? I nodded, though she couldn't see. Every single one. As she started listing the payments, I felt a shift inside me, like a door creaking open after years of being locked. This wasn't just about a dinner. It was about my life, my worth. And I was done being invisible. The bank operator's voice droned on, listing payments I barely remembered setting up. $2,000 monthly to Michael Miller, $1,500 to Karen Miller for her boutique. I gripped the phone, my heart pounding. Each number felt like a piece of me given away. I sat at my kitchen table, the same one where Michael used to do homework, his crayons scattered. Now it held my laptop, open to the banking app, numbers glaring back. Ma'am, do you want to proceed with canceling all 92? The operator asked. I hesitated. Canceling everything meant cutting ties I'd built my life around. But that text, Karen's words or Michael's, still burned in my mind. Yes, I said, my voice steady. Cancel them all. She typed, the clicks loud in my ear. It's done. You'll get a confirmation email. I thanked her and hung up, staring at the table. The house felt too quiet, like it was holding its breath. I stood, needing to move, and walked to the living room. My phone buzzed again. Emily's name lit up the screen. I answered, my throat tight. Grandma, what's going on? Mom's acting weird, saying the dinner's just for her friends. But Dad told me yesterday you were the guest of honor. Her voice cracked, full of confusion. I swallowed, picturing her brown eyes so like Robert's. I don't know, sweetie, I said. I got a text from your dad's phone saying I'm not invited. Emily gasped. No way. Dad wouldn't do that. Hold on, I'm calling him. Before I could stop her, she hung up. My stomach twisted. What if Michael hadn't sent it? What if Karen had his phone? The doubt grew, a knot I couldn't untie. I paced, passing the bookshelf where Robert's old journals sat. On impulse, I pulled one out, its leather cover worn. His handwriting filled the pages, steady and sure. I flipped to a random entry. Susan's too kind. She gives Michael everything, but he needs to stand on his own. My eyes stung. Even back then Robert saw it. I'd brushed it off, thinking love meant giving. Now I wondered if I'd given too much. The doorbell rang, sharp and sudden. I froze, the journal still in my hands. It was only 5:45. Too early for anyone I'd expect. I set the journal down and walked to the door, peering through the peephole. Karen stood there, her arms crossed, her lips a tight line. My heart raced. Why was she here? I opened the door, forcing a smile. Karen, what a surprise. She didn't smile back. Susan, we need to talk. Now. Her tone was cold, like she was scolding a child. I stepped aside, letting her in. She marched to the living room, her heels clicking on the wood floor. I just got a bank alert, she said, turning to face me. You stopped our payments. All of them. What's going on? I blinked, caught off guard. The bank worked fast. I straightened, meeting her eyes. I got a text from Michael's phone. It said you didn't want me at dinner. I figured if I'm not family enough for dinner, I don't need to keep paying for your life. Karen's face flushed. That's ridiculous. Michael didn't send any text. You're overreacting. Her voice was sharp, but her eyes darted away, just for a second. Was she lying? I crossed my arms. Then who sent it, Karen? Because it came from his number. She opened her mouth, then closed it. For a moment, silence hung between us. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her jaw tightening. It's Michael. He's asking why Emily's upset. She typed a quick reply, her fingers flying. I watched, my mind racing. Why was she so defensive? Before I could ask, my own phone rang. It was Emily again. I answered, stepping away from Karen. Grandma, Dad's freaking out, Emily whispered. He said he never sent any text. But I checked his phone when he wasn't looking. There's no message to you in his sent folder. It's gone. My breath caught. Gone. Someone deleted it. I glanced at Karen, who was still texting, her face tense. Emily, stay with your dad, I said. I'll figure this out. I hung up, my hands shaking. Karen looked up, her eyes narrowing. What's that about? She asked. I didn't answer. Instead, I walked to the kitchen, grabbing my purse. I'm going to your place, Karen. I need to talk to Michael myself. She followed me, her voice rising. You can't just show up. I told you, it's my friend's night. I turned, my anger flaring. And I told you, I'm done being pushed out. You don't get to decide where I belong. Her eyes widened, but she didn't stop me. I grabbed my keys and headed for the door, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and resolve. As I stepped outside, my phone buzzed with a new text. It was from an unknown number. Don't come. You'll regret it. I froze, the words chilling me. Who was this? Karen? Someone else? The mystery deepened, but I wasn't turning back. I got in my car, Robert's journal tucked in my purse, his words echoing. You're stronger than you know. I started the engine, ready to face whatever waited at Michael's condo. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white as I drove toward Michael's condo. The unknown text, don't come. You'll regret it, flashed in my mind, each word a cold jab. Was it Karen? Someone else? The streetlights blurred past, my heart thumping like it hadn't in years. I glanced at Robert's journal in the passenger seat, its worn cover a quiet reminder of his strength. I needed that now. Michael's condo was 15 minutes away, in a shiny new complex by the river. I'd been there twice, always bringing something, pie, cash, a smile. Tonight, I brought questions. As I pulled into their parking lot, I saw Emily's car. Good. She'd be there, my one ally. I parked, took a deep breath, and stepped out, clutching my purse. The air was cool, the sky just turning dark. I walked to their building, my legs shaky but my resolve firm. At the door, I buzzed their unit. No answer. I buzzed again longer. Finally, Michael's voice crackled through. Mom, what are you doing here? His tone was sharp, not warm like on the phone 2 days ago. I need to talk to you, Michael. Let me in. There was a pause, then a buzz as the door unlocked. I climbed the stairs, my dress catching on the railing. Their door was ajar when I reached it. I pushed it open and saw Michael in the living room, his face pale. Karen stood behind him, arms crossed, her eyes like daggers. Emily sat on the couch, her phone in her lap, looking worried. Grandma, she said, jumping up. She hugged me tight, and I held her, my heart easing for a moment. Mom, you shouldn't be here, Michael said, his voice low. Karen said it's a bad time. I stepped forward, meeting his eyes. A bad time? You invited me 2 days ago, Michael. Said it was big news. Then I get a text saying I'm not welcome because Karen doesn't want me here. Michael's mouth opened, then closed. He glanced at Karen, who didn't move. I didn't send that, he said, his voice shaky. I swear, Mom. Karen snorted. This is pathetic, Susan. You're making a scene over nothing. It's my friend's night. You weren't invited. Deal with it. Her words cut, but I saw her fingers twitch, like she was hiding something. I pulled out my phone, showing the screen. This came from your number, Michael. If you didn't send it, who did? Emily stepped closer, her eyes wide. Dad, I told you it's not in your sent messages. Someone deleted it. Michael ran a hand through his hair, looking lost. I don't know, okay? Maybe it was a glitch. I shook my head. A glitch that says exactly what Karen's saying now? I'm not stupid, Michael. Karen stepped forward, her voice rising. You're blowing this out of proportion. And what's this about canceling our payments? You can't just cut us off. I stood taller, my anger flaring. I can, Karen. I did. I've been paying for your condo, your car, your boutique. For what? So you can shut me out of your life. Michael's face crumpled. Mom, we didn't mean it like that. We need that money. You know how tight things are. His voice broke, and for a second, I saw the boy who'd cried when Robert died. My heart ached, but I couldn't back down. Tight, I said. I gave you $10,000 last month for your kitchen. I paid for Emily's college. And now I'm not even welcome for dinner. Emily grabbed my hand. Grandma, I didn't know they were taking so much. I thought you wanted to help. Her eyes were wet, and I squeezed her hand. I did, sweetie. But not like this. Karen laughed, cold and sharp. You think you're some saint, Susan? You gave that money to feel needed. Don't act like it was all for us. Her words hit hard, but I saw Michael flinch. Was she right? Had I been buying their love? Before I could answer, the doorbell rang. Karen froze, her eyes darting to Michael. Don't answer it, she said quickly. He ignored her, walking to the intercom. Who is it? A woman's voice came through, calm but firm. It's Nancy from down the street. Susan, you there? I need to talk to you. My heart skipped. Nancy, my old friend, who I hadn't seen in months. Why was she here? Michael buzzed her in, ignoring Karen's glare. Nancy stepped inside. Her gray hair pulled back, her face serious. She held an envelope. Susan, I found something you need to see, she said, handing it to me. I opened it, my hands trembling. Inside was a bank statement, not mine but Michael's. It showed a transfer of $15,000 from my account to his, dated last week. I hadn't authorized it. Where did you get this? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Nancy glanced at Karen, then back at me. I work part-time at the bank. Saw this flagged as suspicious. Someone used your login, Susan. From this address. My stomach dropped. I looked at Michael, then Karen. His face was ashen. Hers was stone. Explain this, I said, holding up the statement. Karen smirked. You're old, Susan. Maybe you forgot you sent it. Emily gasped. Mom, stop it. Michael stepped toward me, his hands up. Mom, I didn't know. I thought you approved it. But his eyes wouldn't meet mine. The room spun, the truth sinking in. Someone in this house had stolen from me. And now, with that text and this money, I was sure it wasn't just Karen. There was more to this, something bigger. I clutched the statement, my resolve hardening. I'm not leaving until I get answers, I said, my voice steady. Nancy nodded, standing by me. Emily grabbed my arm, her voice fierce. I'm with you, Grandma. Karen's smirk faded, and for the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. I held the bank statement tight, its edges crumpling in my fist. The condo's living room felt smaller, the air thick with tension. Karen's smirk was gone, replaced by a hard stare. Michael stood frozen, his eyes on the floor. Emily's hand rested on my arm, her grip steady, while Nancy waited by the door, her face calm but firm. I'm waiting, I said, my voice cutting through the silence. Who took that $15,000? Because it wasn't me. Karen crossed her arms, her voice sharp. You're making this a circus, Susan. That statement's probably fake. Right, Michael? He didn't answer, just rubbed his neck, looking like a kid caught lying. My heart twisted. He was my son, but right now he felt like a stranger. Michael, I said softer now, look at me. Tell me the truth. He finally met my eyes, his own wet. Mama, I didn't know it wasn't approved. Karen said you sent it for the boutique's new inventory. Karen spun toward him. Don't you dare pin this on me. You saw the money come in. You didn't question it. Emily stepped forward, her voice shaking. Dad, you're saying Mom stole it? From Grandma. Michael shook his head fast. No, I'm not saying that. I thought it was okay. I felt sick. Thought it was okay? I trusted him with my bank login years ago, for emergencies after Robert died. Had he betrayed me? Or was Karen pulling the strings? Nancy cleared her throat. Susan, that transfer was made from a computer here. Last Tuesday at 3:17 p.m. Bank logs don't lie. Karen laughed, but it sounded forced. So what? Susan was probably here, messing up her own account. She's not exactly tech-savvy. I glared at her. I was at my book club that day, Karen. 10 people saw me. Try again. Her face twitched, and I knew I'd hit a nerve. Emily's phone buzzed, breaking the silence. She glanced at it, her eyes widening. Grandma, it's a text from Aunt Linda. She says she's outside. She heard you were here. My stomach dropped. Linda, Karen's older sister, who I hadn't seen since their wedding. Why now? Michael moved to the intercom, but Karen grabbed his arm. Don't let her in. This is our house. He pulled away, buzzing Linda in. She's family, Karen. Unlike you, I don't shut family out. Karen's face went red, but she stayed quiet. Linda walked in moments later, her hair graying, her eyes sharp. She carried a small box, taped shut. Susan, she said, nodding at me. I didn't expect this mess, but I'm glad you're here. She set the box on the coffee table, ignoring Karen's glare. What's that? I asked, my voice wary. Linda looked at Karen, then me. Something I found in Karen's old apartment before she moved in with Michael. I was cleaning it out last month. Open it, Susan. My hands shook as I tore the tape. Inside were papers, bank receipts, login notes, and a sticky note with my name and account number. My breath caught. These were from years ago, when I'd helped Karen with her first boutique. Karen, I said, holding up the sticky note. Why do you have my account details? She shrugged, but her eyes darted to the box. Old stuff. I forgot about it. Linda snorted. Forgot? I found that box hidden under your floorboards, Karen. You kept it locked. Emily gasped, covering her mouth. Michael stared at Karen, his face pale. What's Linda talking about? He asked, his voice low. Karen snapped. She's lying. She's always hated me, Susan. You know that. Linda shook her head. I don't hate you, Karen. But I'm done covering for you. Susan, those papers show Karen's been accessing your account for years. Not just this $15,000. There's more. My knees buckled, but Emily caught me, guiding me to the couch. How much more? I whispered. Linda hesitated, then said, at least $50,000 over 5 years. I only saw some of it, but the bank's investigating. The room spun. 50,000? I'd worked with Robert for decades, saving every penny, and Karen had taken it, piece by piece. I looked at Michael, hoping he'd say something, anything. He just stood there, silent. Michael, I said, my voice breaking. Did you know? He shook his head, tears falling now. I didn't, Mom. I swear. She said the money was from her business. Karen lunged for the box, but Linda grabbed it first. Enough, Karen. Linda shouted. You've hurt this family too long. Karen's eyes blazed, but she backed off, breathing hard. I clutched the sticky note, my anger mixing with grief. All those years, thinking I was helping, I'd been robbed. But why? What else was she hiding? Emily hugged me, her voice fierce. Grandma will fix this. I promise. Nancy stepped closer, her hand on my shoulder. Susan, I can get the bank to freeze everything tonight. Just say the word. I nodded, my voice steady despite the tears. Do it. As Nancy pulled out her phone, the doorbell rang again. Everyone froze. Michael checked the intercom, his voice tense. Who is it? A man's voice answered, unfamiliar but calm. It's Detective Harris, local police. I need to speak with Susan Miller. My heart stopped. Police? I looked at Karen, who'd gone pale. Linda's eyes met mine, grim but unsurprised. Susan, she whispered. There's more in that box than bank papers. I called them yesterday. I opened the box again, my hands trembling. Buried under the receipts was a small notebook. I flipped it open, and my blood ran cold. It was a list, dates, amounts, and names. My name was there, but so was Robert's, with a note. Life insurance, access 2010. Robert's insurance? He'd died in 2008. I'd never touched that money, thinking it was safe for Emily. I looked at Karen, my voice shaking. What did you do with my husband's money? She didn't answer, her eyes locked on the door as footsteps approached. The condo door opened, and Detective Harris stepped in, his badge glinting under the living room light. He was middle-aged, with kind eyes but a firm jaw. I clutched the notebook, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might break. Robert's life insurance, money I'd saved for Emily's future, was listed in Karen's handwriting. My hands shook as I looked at her, her face pale, her eyes fixed on the floor. Michael stood by the couch, his shoulders slumped, while Emily held my arm, her breath uneven. Linda and Nancy flanked me, their presence like a shield. Mrs. Miller? The detective said, his voice calm. I'm here about some financial irregularities. Can we talk? I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. Karen snapped. This is my house. You can't just barge in. Harris raised a hand. Ma'am, I was invited by Linda Carter. We have reason to believe there's been fraud. Linda nodded, her eyes steady. I called him, Susan. That notebook, it's not just your account. There's more. I looked at her, then back at the notebook. My fingers traced the page with Robert's name. This says life insurance 2010, I said, my voice breaking. My husband died in 2008. I never touched that money. It was for Emily. Emily gasped, her hand tightening on mine. Grandma, what's she talking about? Detective Harris stepped closer, glancing at the notebook. Mrs. Miller, that insurance policy was cashed out in 2010, $75,000. The bank flagged it recently when Linda brought in those papers. My knees buckled, but Emily caught me, guiding me to a chair. Cashed out. I whispered. How? I didn't sign anything. Harris looked at Karen, then Michael. Someone forged your signature. We traced the transfer to an account linked to this address. Michael's head snapped up. Karen, tell me you didn't. His voice cracked, raw with pain. Karen's eyes flashed. Don't act innocent, Michael. You knew we needed money after the boutique tanked. You didn't ask where it came from. I stared at my son, my heart splintering. Michael, you knew? He shook his head, tears streaming. I didn't know it was yours, Mom. She said it was a loan, a business deal. I trusted her. Emily turned to Karen, her voice sharp. You stole from Grandma? From my future? Karen's face hardened. You're all so dramatic. Susan had plenty. She didn't need it. Her words hit like a slap. I stood, my anger burning through the grief. Didn't need it? That was Robert's legacy, Karen. For our family, not your boutique. Nancy stepped forward, her phone out. Susan, the bank just confirmed. Your accounts are frozen, and they're tracing every transfer. Karen, you might want a lawyer. Karen laughed, but it was shaky. You're all ganging up on me. I'm not the bad guy here. Detective Harris pulled out a notepad. Mrs. Miller, we found something else. That text you got tonight? It wasn't from Michael's phone directly. It was rerouted through an app, a burner number. Someone wanted it to look like him. My breath caught. A burner app? I looked at Karen, whose face went still. Who sent it? I asked, my voice trembling. Harris hesitated. We're tracing it, but it came from this building. We'll need access to all devices here. Karen backed toward the kitchen. This is harassment. You can't take my phone. Michael grabbed her arm, his voice low. Karen, stop. If you didn't send it, prove it. Give him your phone. She yanked free, her eyes wild. You're turning on me now? After everything? I watched them, my mind racing. The text, the money, the notebook. It was all connected, but how? Then Emily's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her face paling. Grandma, it's another text from that unknown number. It says, leave now or it gets worse. My heart stopped. I grabbed her phone, showing it to Harris. He frowned, taking it. This is serious. We need to search this place. As he spoke, I noticed Karen edge toward the hallway. Where are you going? I called. She froze, then bolted for the back door. Linda lunged, grabbing her arm. You're not running, Karen. They struggled, and a small flash drive fell from Karen's pocket, clattering on the floor. Harris picked it up, his eyes narrowing. What's this? Karen's face went white. It's nothing. Just work stuff. But her voice shook. Harris pocketed it. We'll see about that. Mrs. Miller, you okay to stay while we search? I nodded, my hands trembling but my resolve firm. I'm not going anywhere. Emily hugged me, her voice soft. I'm so sorry, Grandma. I didn't know. I kissed her forehead, tears falling. It's not your fault, sweetie. Michael sank onto the couch, his head in his hands. Mom, I messed up. I should have seen it. I wanted to comfort him, but the hurt was too raw. Instead, I looked at the notebook, Robert's name staring back. I thought of our life together, the promises we'd made. I'd given everything to this family, but now I saw it clear. They'd taken more than I'd offered. As Harris and Linda started searching, I whispered to Emily, we're going to fix this. Together. She nodded, her eyes fierce. But then Harris called from the kitchen. Mrs. Miller, you need to see this. He held up a laptop, its screen open to an email draft. It was addressed to me, unsent, with just one line. You should have stayed out of it. My blood ran cold. The email was from Karen's account, but the timestamp was an hour ago, right before I got the second unknown text. I looked at Karen, now handcuffed by Harris. "What else are you hiding?" I asked, my voice steady despite the fear. She didn't answer, but her silence said enough. There was more to this, and I was going to find it, no matter what it cost. I stared at the laptop screen, the words, "You should have stayed out of it," burning into me. Karen stood in the corner, handcuffed, her eyes darting between Detective Harris and the floor. Michael sat on the couch, his face buried in his hands, while Emily clung to my side, her breathing shaky. Linda and Nancy stood nearby, their presence grounding me. The condo felt like a trap, every corner hiding another lie. My heart ached, but anger kept me upright. "Karen," I said, my voice low but firm, "what's on that flash drive?" She didn't answer, her lips pressed tight. Harris held it up, his face serious. "We'll find out soon enough. Mrs. Miller, can you step over here? I need your statement." I nodded, but my eyes stayed on Karen. She'd taken Robert's insurance, my savings, maybe more. What else had she done? Emily squeezed my hand. "Grandma, you don't have to do this alone." Her voice was soft, but it gave me strength. I walked to the kitchen table where Harris set up his notepad. "Tell me everything," he said. I took a breath, my hands trembling as I recounted the text, the bank statement, the notebook. Each word felt like peeling back a wound. "I thought I was helping my family," I said, my voice cracking. "I gave them everything, money, time, love. And now this." Harris nodded, writing quickly. "We're looking into all of it. The flash drive might have more answers." He glanced at Karen. "Anything you want to say?" She shook her head, but her hands twitched in the cuffs. Michael looked up, his eyes red. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't know she was taking that much." I wanted to believe him, but doubt gnawed at me. "You didn't question it, Michael?" "Not once." He flinched. I was busy. Work's been hard. Karen handled the money. I trusted her." Emily snapped. "Dad, how could you not know? Grandma's been paying for everything." Michael's voice broke. "I know, Emily. I messed up. I didn't want to lose her." My heart twisted. Lose her? He'd chosen Karen over me, over truth. I turned away, focusing on Harris. "What's next?" I asked. He leaned back. "We'll search the laptop and flash drive. If there's evidence of fraud, we'll press charges. But, Mrs. Miller, you should know, there's a pattern. This isn't just about you." A chill ran through me. "What do you mean?" Harris hesitated, then said, "Linda mentioned other accounts. Karen's name came up in a few complaints at the bank. Small businesses, mostly. We're still connecting the dots." Linda nodded, her face grim. "I saw her with some shady people last year, Susan. At her boutique. I didn't think much of it then, but now." My stomach dropped. Shady people? Was Karen part of something bigger? Before I could ask, the laptop beeped. Harris turned it, clicking a file that had just opened. It was a spreadsheet, rows of names and numbers. My name was there, with dates and amounts. $15,000, $10,000, $75,000 for the insurance. But there were others, people I didn't know, with transfers going back years. "Karen," I said, my voice shaking. "Who are these people?" She stayed silent, but her eyes were wide, like a cornered animal. Harris scrolled down, then stopped. "This is bad," he muttered. "One of these names is a client I investigated last month. Reported fraud, same MO, forged signatures, fake transfers." Emily gasped. "So Mom's been stealing from others too?" Harris nodded. "Looks like it. We need to take this to the station." Karen finally spoke, her voice sharp. "You can't prove anything. That's not mine." But her panic betrayed her. I stepped closer, my anger boiling. "You used me, Karen. My family. My husband's memory. Why?" She glared back. "You had it easy, Susan. Big house, big savings. You didn't need it." "I did." Her words cut, but they also lit a fire in me. I wasn't just a bank to them. I was a mother, a grandmother, a person. Nancy touched my shoulder. "Susan, let's call my friend at the bank. She can pull more records tonight." I nodded, but my eyes stayed on the spreadsheet. One name caught my attention, Robert Miller with a note. Closed account, 2010. My heart stopped. Robert's old savings account, separate from the insurance. I'd forgotten about it, thinking it was empty after his death. Detective, I said, pointing. That's my husband's name again. What's this account? Harris frowned, typing on his phone. I'll check. Might be another lead. As he worked, Emily pulled me aside, her voice low. Grandma, I found something weird on Mom's laptop before you got here. An email she sent to someone named Viper. It mentioned you, said you were a problem. My blood ran cold. Viper? Who was that? I looked at Karen, but she was arguing with Linda now, her voice loud. You betrayed me, Linda. My own sister. Linda didn't back down. You betrayed everyone, Karen. I'm done protecting you. The room spun with voices. Karen yelling, Michael pleading, Emily whispering to me. I felt like I was drowning, but Robert's face flashed in my mind, his steady smile. You're stronger than you know, he'd said. I straightened, turning to Harris. I want to know everything. Every account, every name. I'm not stopping until it's all out. He nodded, respect in his eyes. We'll get there, Mrs. Miller. Then his phone buzzed. He read it, his face tightening. We've got a hit on that flash drive. It's encrypted, but there's a file labeled Susan Plan. We're cracking it now. My heart raced. A plan about me? I looked at Karen, who was suddenly quiet, her eyes on the floor. What's the Susan Plan? I asked, my voice cold. She didn't answer, but her silence screamed guilt. Emily grabbed my hand, her voice fierce. We'll find out, Grandma. Whatever it takes. As Harris packed up the laptop, he said, Mrs. Miller, you should come to the station. This is bigger than we thought. I nodded, my resolve like steel. I'd been hurt, betrayed, but I wasn't broken. Not yet. I sat in the back of Detective Harris's car, the city light streaking past as we headed to the station. Emily was beside me, her hand in mine, her face tight with worry. Nancy followed in her car, promising to stay close, while Linda stayed at the condo with Michael and Karen, who was still in cuffs. The Susan Plan file echoed in my mind, each word a sharp twist in my gut. What had Karen planned for me? My heart felt heavy, like it was carrying every betrayal. Michael's silence, Karen's lies, the money stolen from Robert's memory. I looked at Emily, her eyes red but fierce. Grandma, we're going to fix this, she said, her voice soft but sure. I squeezed her hand, tears burning. I know, sweetie. I just wish it didn't hurt so much. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and for a moment, I felt Robert's warmth, like he was there, guiding me. At the station, Harris led us to a small room with a table and a computer. Mrs. Miller, we're working on that flash drive, he said, pulling up a chair. It's heavily encrypted, but my tech guy's good. Should have something soon. I nodded, sitting down, my hands clasped tight. Emily sat next to me, her phone buzzing. She glanced at it, then at me. It's Dad, she said. He's texting nonstop, saying he's sorry. My chest tightened. What does he want? I asked, my voice weary. Emily read aloud, her voice shaking. Mom, I didn't know how bad it was. Karen kept me in the dark. Please don't hate me. I closed my eyes, picturing Michael as a boy, running to me after scraping his knee. I wanted to hold him, but the hurt was too deep. Tell him I need time, I said. Emily typed, then set her phone down. He's falling apart, Grandma. I've never seen him like this. I sighed, my heart torn. He's still my son, Emily. But he let this happen. Harris came back, his face grim. We've got a partial decrypt. The file mentions you, Mrs. Miller, and something about relocation. We're digging deeper. Relocation? My stomach dropped. What does that mean? I asked, my voice sharp. Harris hesitated. Could be financial, like moving assets. Or something personal. We don't know yet. Emily's eyes widened. Personal? Like what? Sending Grandma away. Her voice cracked, and she grabbed my arm. I patted her hand, my mind racing. Sending me away? To where? I thought of Karen's cold stare, her words about me having it easy. Had she planned to get rid of me? The door opened, and a young officer handed Harris a printout. He scanned it, then looked at me. Mrs. Miller, we found an email on Karen's laptop, sent to that Viper contact. It mentions a nursing home in Ohio, with your name on an application, dated last month. My breath stopped. A nursing home? I'd never agreed to that. Emily gasped, tears falling. Mom wanted to lock you away? Grandma, no. I pulled her close, my own tears spilling. It's okay, sweetie. I'm not going anywhere. But inside I was shaking. Karen had stolen my money, Robert's legacy, and now this? I looked at Harris, my voice steady despite the pain. What else is in that email? He read from the printout. It says, Susan's getting nosy. The home's ready. Viper, make it quick. Signed with Karen's initials. Emily sobbed, burying her face in my shoulder. I held her, my anger rising like a tide. Who's Viper? I asked, my voice cold. Harris shook his head. We're tracing the email address. It's a burner, but we'll find them. I nodded, my mind flashing to Karen's smirk, her quick moves to hide things. She'd planned this for months, maybe years. But why? I thought of our first meeting, her shy smile when Michael brought her home. Had it all been a lie? Emily wiped her eyes, her voice fierce. Grandma, we should call Aunt Nancy. She knows people who can help. I nodded, grateful for her strength. Good idea, sweetie. I dialed Nancy, my hands shaking. Susan, you okay? She answered, her voice worried. I told her about the nursing home, Viper, the file. She gasped. That's awful. I'm calling my lawyer friend Tom. He's dealt with fraud before. Hold tight. I thanked her, hanging up. Harris typed on the computer, then turned to me. Mrs. Miller, we found something else. A bank account in Michael's name, opened last week. It's got $20,000, transferred from one of Karen's accounts. My heart sank. Michael again? Emily looked at me, her eyes wide. Dad wouldn't, right? He said he didn't know. I didn't answer, the doubt growing. Had Michael lied too? I looked at Harris. Can you talk to him? He nodded. We're bringing him in now. Linda's with him. As we waited, Emily pulled out her phone, scrolling. Grandma, I remembered something. Mom was on a call last week, whispering about fixing things. I thought it was work, but now, her voice trailed off. I hugged her, my heart breaking for her. You're doing great, Emily. Keep telling me everything. She nodded, then froze. Wait. I took a picture of her laptop screen that day. I was mad she was ignoring me. She showed me a blurry photo, a chat window with Viper, saying, Susan's house next. Papers ready. My blood ran cold. My house? What papers? I showed Harris, who took the phone. This helps, Emily. We'll analyze it. The door opened, and Michael walked in, his face pale, Linda behind him. Mom, he said, his voice breaking. I didn't know about the nursing home. I swear. I stood, my anger flaring. Then why's there $20,000 in your new account, Michael? From Karen. His eyes widened. What? I didn't open any account. Harris held up the printout. It's in your name, Mr. Miller. Explain. Michael sank into a chair, shaking his head. I don't know. She must have done it. Mom, you have to believe me. I wanted to, but the lies piled up. I don't know what to believe anymore, I said, my voice quiet. Emily touched my arm. Grandma will figure it out. I promise. Her faith kept me going. I looked at Harris, my resolve hardening. Find Viper. And whatever's in that file. I need the truth. He nodded, his eyes steady. We're close, Mrs. Miller. We're close. The police station's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, making my head throb. I sat at the table, Emily's hand still in mine, her eyes searching my face for strength I wasn't sure I had. Michael was across from us, his head bowed, muttering, I didn't know, Mom. Detective Harris typed at his computer, his face focused, the Susan plan file still locked but its shadow hanging over us. The nursing home email, the Viper chats, the $20,000 in Michael's name. It all felt like a nightmare I couldn't wake from. My heart was heavy with hurt, but Emily's quiet presence kept me a flicker of hope. I looked at her and whispered, You're my rock, sweetie. She smiled, small but real. You're mine too, Grandma. Harris looked up, his screen glowing. We cracked another file, he said. It's a video timestamped last week. Mrs. Miller, you ready? I nodded, my stomach twisting. He clicked play, and Karen's face appeared, sitting in her boutique office. She was talking to someone off-screen, her voice muffled but male. Susan's getting too curious, she said, her tone sharp. The nursing home's set. Viper's got the fake will ready. Once she's signed, we're done. My breath caught. A fake will. Emily gasped, gripping my arm. Grandma, what's talking about your will? I shook my head, tears welling. I never changed my will. Harris paused the video, his voice grim. We found a document on the drive, a will dated 2 weeks ago, leaving everything to Karen. Your signature's on it, but it's a clear forgery. My hands shook. I didn't sign that. I said, my voice barely a whisper. Michael stood, his face ashen. Karen, tell me you didn't plan to steal everything. His voice broke and he shouted, Mom, I had no part in this. I wanted to believe him, but the $20,000 account in his name lingered in my mind. Then why's your name on that money, Michael? I asked, my voice cracking. He sank back. I don't know, Mom. She must have set me up. Emily turned to him, her eyes blazing. Dad, how could you not notice? You let Mom ruin Grandma. Michael's tears fell. I'm so sorry, Emily. I was blind. His pain was real, but my trust was raw, torn apart by years of giving and getting nothing back. Harris's phone buzzed, and he stepped out to answer it, leaving us in heavy silence. Emily whispered, Grandma, what if Viper's that guy Mom was talking to? The one in the video. I nodded, my mind racing. A fake will, a nursing home, Viper. It was all connected. I thought of my house, with the garden where Robert planted roses for me. Had Karen planned to take that too? Harris came back, leaving me with a new printout. We identified Viper, he said, his voice low. Real name's Victor Payne, a known con artist. He's been linked to fraud schemes across 3 states. We got a warrant out for him. The email trace leads to a coffee shop near your house, Mrs. Miller. My heart raced. Near my house. I gasped. Harris nodded. Karen met him there last month. We're pulling security footage now. I pictured my quiet street, the cafe where I'd gone with Nancy for coffee. Had Karen been watching me, plotting with this man? Emily's phone buzzed, and she checked it, her face paling. It's Aunt Linda, she said, reading. She found a key in Mom's car, labeled Susan's safe. Grandma, do you have a safe? I froze. A key? I'd had a small safe in my bedroom, with Robert's important papers, his real will, our marriage certificate. I hadn't opened it since his death. Yes, I said, my voice shaking. But only I have the key. Harris frowned. We need to check it, Mrs. Miller. Can you go home tonight? I nodded, my resolve hardening. Let's go now. Emily stood. I'm coming too, she said, her voice firm. Michael looked up, his eyes. Mom, let me come. I need to make this right. I hesitated, the hurt still raw, but his broken voice tugged at me. Fine, I said. But you're here, not off the hook. We left the station, Harris leading us to my house. The drive was quiet, Emily holding my hand, Michael staring out the window. My heart pounded as I thought of the safe, Robert's papers, everything I'd held dear. At home, I led them to my bedroom, the safe hidden behind a picture of Robert and me. My hands shook as I pulled it out, using my key. But then Harris held up Karen's key. It matched mine perfectly. She had a copy, he said, his voice grim. I opened the safe, my breath catching. Inside were the papers I expected, but also a new envelope, labeled Susan, final. I opened it, my hands trembling. It was another fake will, dated last week, leaving my house to Karen. Emily gasped. She was going to take your home. Tears fell as I clutched Robert's real will, his handwriting steady. She almost did. I whispered. Michael knelt beside me, his voice thick. Mom, I didn't know. I swear I'll fix this. I looked at him, seeing my son but also a man who'd failed me. Words aren't enough, Michael. I said, my voice steady. Harris took the fake will, bagging it. This is evidence. We're building a case. As he spoke, his phone buzzed. He read it, then looked at me. We got Payne, Viper. He's in custody. Says Karen hired him to handle you. My heart stopped. Handle me? I asked. Harris nodded. He's talking. We'll know more soon. Emily hugged me, her voice fierce. Grandma, you're safe now. But I wasn't sure. Karen's plan was unraveling, but the pain she caused lingered, a wound I'd carry forever. I stood in my bedroom, the safe still open, the fake will in Detective Harris's hands. The air felt heavy, like it held all the lies Karen had spun. Emily hugged me tight, her face pressed against my shoulder, her quiet sobs shaking us both. Michael knelt by the bed, his eyes red, his hands clasped like he was praying. Harris bagged the fake will, his voice calm but serious. Mrs. Miller, this strengthens our case. Payne's talking at the station. We'll get the full story soon. I nodded, but my heart was racing. Handle me? What had Karen and this viper planned? I looked at the real will, Robert's handwriting steady, leaving everything to me and Emily. My fingers traced his words, and I felt him close like he was whispering, "Keep going, Susan." Emily pulled back, wiping her eyes. "Grandma, how could Mom do this? Your house, your money, everything." Her voice broke, and I cupped her face, my own tears falling. "I don't know, sweetie, but we're stronger than her lies." She nodded, her jaw set. Michael stood, his voice shaky. "Mom, I let you down. I let her control everything. I don't know how to fix it." I looked at him, my son so lost. My anger was there, but so was love, tangled and raw. "You start by being honest, Michael," I said, my voice firm. "No more hiding." He nodded, tears streaming. "I will. I promise." Harris cleared his throat. "We need to head back to the station." Payne's giving details, and Karen's being questioned. "Mrs. Miller, you want to come?" I hesitated, glancing at Emily. "Can she stay with me?" I asked. Harris nodded. "Of course." Emily squeezed my hand. "I'm not leaving you, Grandma." Michael stepped forward. "I'm coming too. I need to face this." I looked at him, unsure, but his eyes held a spark I hadn't seen in years. "Okay," I said. We drove back to the station, the night dark outside. Emily leaned against me in the back seat, her voice low. "Grandma, I feel so stupid. I lived with Mom and didn't see any of this." I stroked her hair. "You're not stupid, Emily. She hid it from all of us." She sniffled. "But you're so strong. I want to be like you." My heart swelled, and I kissed her forehead. "You already are, sweetie." At the station, Harris led us to a room with a glass window looking into another where Karen sat, her hands cuffed, her face hard. A woman officer was with her, asking questions. Harris handed me a file. "Payne's statement so far. He says Karen hired him a year ago to forge documents, your will, the nursing home papers. She wanted control of your assets." I read the words, my stomach churning. "Why me?" I asked, my voice trembling. Harris sighed. "Money mostly. Payne says Karen was in debt, her boutique failed, and she owed people. You were her way out." Emily gasped. "So she used Grandma like a bank?" Harris nodded. "Looks like it. But there's more. Payne says Karen planned to sell your house after moving you to Ohio." My knees buckled, but Michael caught me, his arm steady. "Mom, I'm so sorry," he whispered. I pulled away, my voice sharp. "Sorry's not enough, Michael. You let her do this." He nodded, his voice breaking. "I know. I was weak. But I'm here now." Emily stepped between us. "Dad, you have to prove it. Help Grandma get justice." Michael looked at her, then me, his eyes fierce. "I will, Emily. Mom, whatever it takes." Harris's radio crackled, and he listened, then turned to us. "Payne just gave up a third person. Someone who helped Karen get your safe key." My heart stopped. "Who?" I asked. Harris hesitated. "Your neighbor, Tom Bradley. He's been working with Payne doing odd jobs." Tom. The quiet man who'd mowed my lawn after Robert died? I pictured his friendly wave, his offers to fix my fence. "Tom betrayed me too?" I whispered, my voice cracking. Emily hugged me. "Grandma, we'll get through this." Harris nodded. "We're picking him up now. Mrs. Miller, you've got a strong case, fraud, forgery, conspiracy." I sat down, the weight of it all crushing me. Karen's voice came through the glass, loud and angry. I did what I had to. Susan had enough for everyone. I stood, my anger flaring. Enough, I said, though she couldn't hear. You took my life, Karen. Michael touched my arm. Mom, let me talk to her. I need to know why. I nodded, my throat tight. Harris led him to the interrogation room. Through the glass, I watched Michael face Karen, his voice low but clear. Why, Karen? Why hurt my mom like this? Karen smirked, but it faltered. You wouldn't understand, Michael. You never had to fight for anything. He leaned forward, his voice breaking. You made me lose my family. Was it worth it? She looked away, silent. Emily whispered, Grandma, she's got nothing left. I nodded, tears falling. Karen had built her lies on my trust, but they were crumbling now. Harris came back, holding a new printout. We found texts between Karen and Tom. He copied your safe key last summer, when he fixed your back door. My heart sank. I remembered that day, Tom bringing me lemonade, chatting about Robert. He played me, I said, my voice hollow. Harris nodded. He's confessing now. Says Karen promised him a cut. Emily's phone buzzed and she checked it, her eyes wide. It's Aunt Nancy. Her lawyer's here, wants to meet us. I nodded, my resolve returning. Tell her to come. As we waited, I looked at Michael, still talking to Karen, his face torn. I thought of Robert, his laugh, his love. I'd lost so much, but I still had Emily, maybe even Michael, if he could change. I wasn't alone, and that gave me strength. /X artifact. This 9th section, 7,000 characters, continues from Viper's custody, deepening the humanized narrative with emotional dialogues between Susan, Emily, Michael, and Karen, via the glass. Twists include Viper's revelation of Karen's plan to sell Susan's house, the involvement of neighbor Tom Bradley, and texts confirming he copied Susan's safe key, escalating the mystery of the conspiracy. Susan's emotions, betrayal, grief, hope, are vivid, grounded in her bond with Emily and memories of Robert, keeping the story reality-based and humanized. Simple English, past tense, and no bookish phrases are used, with no repeated character details. The section flows seamlessly, building suspense for the final resolution. Please review and say next, when ready for the police station's waiting room felt cold, but Emily's hand in mine warmed me. Michael stood by the window, watching Karen through the glass as she spoke to her lawyer. Detective Harris sat at a desk, typing up the case against her and Victor Payne. Nancy's lawyer, Tom Reynolds, walked in, a tall man with a kind smile. Susan, he said, shaking my hand. Nancy filled me in. You've got a strong case. Let's talk options. I nodded, my heart still heavy but lighter with hope. Emily leaned close, whispering, Grandma, you're doing amazing. I smiled, squeezing her hand. Because of you, sweetie. Tom spread papers on the table. Karen's facing fraud, forgery, and conspiracy charges, he said. Payne's confession ties her to everything. The fake will, the nursing home, you're safe. Tom Bradley's cooperating, so we've got his text too. I took a breath, the weight of Karen's betrayal sinking in. What about my money? I asked, my voice steady. Tom nodded. We're tracing the stolen funds. You could recover some, maybe $60,000. The house is safe, your real will stands. Relief washed over me, but Emily frowned. What about Mom? Will she go to jail? Tom sighed. Likely yes. The evidence is overwhelming. Emily's eyes filled with tears and I hugged her. I'm sorry, sweetie, I said. She made her choices. Michael turned from the window, his face pale. Mom, can I talk to you? He asked, his voice low. I nodded, and we stepped to a corner. I failed you, he said, tears falling. I let Karen run everything. I didn't see how much you gave us. My heart ached, but I stood tall. Michael, I gave because I loved you. But you took me for granted. He nodded, wiping his eyes. I know. I want to earn your trust back. I'll testify against Karen. Tell them everything. I searched his face, seeing my son, not the man who'd hurt me. It's a start, I said. Emily joined us, her voice soft. Dad, you mean it? He hugged her, his voice breaking. I do, Emily. I'm done hiding. Harris walked over, holding a new printout. Mrs. Miller, we found one last twist, he said, his face serious. Payne says Karen wasn't alone at the top. Her boutique partner, Rachel Klein, was in on it. They targeted wealthy families, not just you. My jaw dropped. Rachel? I'd met her once, a quiet woman at Karen's shop opening. Rachel too? I asked. Harris nodded. She's in custody now. Says Karen planned to frame Michael if things went south. Michael gasped. Frame me? For what? Harris held up the printout. That $20,000 account in your name? Rachel forged your signature. Karen wanted you to take the fall. Emily's eyes blazed. Mom was going to ruin Dad too? I shook my head, stunned. Karen's web was bigger than I'd imagined. Why us? I asked, my voice trembling. Harris sighed. Greed, Mrs. Miller. You were an easy target, kind, trusting. His words stung, but they also woke something in me. I wasn't just a target anymore. I looked at Tom. What can I do to make sure this never happens again? He smiled. We'll update your legal protections. New will, power of attorney to someone you trust, like Emily. And we'll sue Karen's estate for damages. Emily's eyes widened. Me? Grandma, really? I nodded, smiling. You're my future, sweetie. Michael stepped forward. Mom, let me help too. I want to be family again. I hesitated, then nodded. Prove it, Michael. Actions, not words. Harris's radio crackled. Karen's confessing, he said, listening. Says she targeted you after Robert died, saw your savings as a lifeline. Rachel pushed her to go bigger. I closed my eyes, picturing Robert's laugh, his roses. Karen had tried to erase him, but she'd failed. I stood, my voice firm. I want to see her. Harris led me to the interrogation room. Karen looked up, her face tired. Susan, she said, her voice flat. I sat across from her, my heart pounding. Why, Karen? I welcomed you. I gave you everything. She shrugged, but her eyes were wet. I was drowning, Susan. Debt, pressure. You had so much. I leaned forward, my voice soft but strong. I had love, Karen. You could have had it too. She looked away, silent. I stood, feeling lighter. You won't break me, I said, and walked out. Back in the waiting room, Emily ran to me, hugging tight. You okay, Grandma? I nodded, tears falling but my heart full. I am now. Michael joined us, his arm around Emily. Mom, I'm selling the condo, he said. I'll pay you back whatever I can. I smiled, small but real. That's a good start. 6 months later, I sat in my garden, Robert's roses blooming bright. Emily was at college, calling me daily, her voice full of dreams. Michael worked a new job, sending small checks each month, his letters full of apologies. Karen and Rachel were in prison, their scheme exposed. I'd recovered $50,000, enough to travel to Italy, a dream Robert and I shared. Nancy joined me, and we laughed under Tuscan skies, free and alive. I learned a hard lesson. Love doesn't mean giving everything away. It means valuing yourself first. I'd been hurt, betrayed, but I'd found my strength, my family, my life. And that was enough.